On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are talking about the top 3 renovations to make for boondocking. Though I think we're actually going to give you 4. So an extra one.
Really?
That's one.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's how we do things here, apparently.
Yes. So what would you say the top... What is one of your top renovations for boondocking?
One that we keep talking about over and over and over again as our dogs bark right in the middle of our video. Penny,
Patty,
please.
Stop it.
Okay. Solar. Solar, solar, solar. It is really expensive, but really convenient. I can't stress how nice it has been to have solar. We are always, as long as there's sun, and even when there isn't sun, by the way, even a day completely filled with clouds, not a single speck of sunlight, we will still charge our batteries as long as we don't have the inverter on and the external monitor.
As long as we're careful.
Yeah, things like that. So you can absolutely do this lifestyle with a generator.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, and it's far cheaper. However, you're always hauling the generator in or out, or connecting it, or filling up with gas, changing the oil, those kinds of things. You just have to keep up your generator.
And
For us,
it's noisier.
Yes, and it's noisier, yes.
We're pretty much saying it requires actual work, and it's noisier, whereas solar is completely passive on our parts. We forget it's there, and it's silent.
Yeah, for us, we didn't compare just the cost between the two solutions, because for us, convenience is something that we like to pay for. And the solar, like I said, it's always charging. You don't have to set anything up. It's connected. Our batteries are always, 8 to 10 hours a day. When there is some sunlight, our batteries are being continuously topped off, which has been so nice.
So number 2 renovation that we've made that makes boondocking so much easier, composting toilet.
Composting toilet, that's right.
Which we're going to do a Tuesday Talk with a full update on how we've been doing with the composting toilet, because I think it's almost been a year now, and we've had some questions on that. So we're not going to go super into that right now, but super convenient to not have to worry about a black tank. We double our wastewater storage by combining the black and gray tank. We don't have to worry about smell.
Yeah. And
we deal with the solids of the compost every
4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
And that
it's a pain.
That's not pleasant.
But it takes
but the positives,
half an hour and whatever.
Yeah, the positives are really, really cool.
Yeah.
There's like a love-hate relationship. You either you do the compost or you just never will, and that's perfectly fine. But for us, I think the biggest thing is we never worry about having to have sewer.
No.
Even if it's once a month, we can go a month because we've combined both of our waste tanks, our gray tank and our black tank.
Which that gives us our kind of 0.5 extra piece of renovation, because it's not really a renovation, but it's something that we think is really necessary for boondocking.
It's a nice to have gadget.
Yes.
We'll tell you about that last. Yeah. But the composting toilet has been absolutely awesome, and it's really been able to extend the time that we can stay. But there's one element also that you may not think about when you transition over to a composting toilet. Yes, you don't use your black tank for black water. However, every time you go number 1, you're using 0 water from your fresh water. There's no flushing. Even number 2, there's no flushing at all. So not only are you combining your gray and black tank, but you're not using any water.
Which obviously helps
in the course of you doing your business. So your freshwater tank doesn't get drained quite as fast.
So 3rd renovation that we did that made a huge difference with boondocking is our catalytic heater. Mm-hmm. You've seen this recently because it's been cold as...
And I'm a wimp.
Very cold.
When it comes to the cold. So I especially have loved this catalytic heater over the past couple weeks.
So we had to install a propane line. We took it off the back of the fridge and ran it underneath, and we plug that into the catalytic heater when we need it, and we face it either to the front or the back of the Airstream. We'll link to a video where we explain a little bit more about it. But what it pretty much allows us to do is boondock, have heat, even if it's freezing outside, without using any electricity, not touching our batteries, and using a trickle of propane compared to the furnace. A furnace works fine. Most people have furnaces in their RVs. They run from the batteries, they run from your propane tanks. They just use a lot more propane and they use electricity, and the catalytic heater doesn't do that.
Yes, the furnace uses electricity to blow the air throughout your Airstream. It's going to heat up your Airstream much faster. So if we came back after a full day and it was like 35 degrees inside or 40 degrees inside, would we turn on our catalytic heater? Probably not immediately. We might turn on our furnace just to get the heat in the Airstream up to 55 or 60, then switch over to our catalytic heater, which can maintain heat a lot more, I don't know, efficiently or cost effectively at least.
Yeah. And this way, for boondocking, like we said, not using our batteries, which is important, and using much less propane, which means we can go a lot longer on our propane tanks than if we were using the furnace. So we don't have to worry about running out of propane when we're someplace for a week.
That's right.
So.
We have 2 40-gallon tanks, and even with the catalytic heater on high, I think it was on high for 2 or 3 days, we didn't even use half of one of our tanks to keep the Airstream nice and warm. So that has been a huge, huge savings for us.
So going back to our fourth thing, even though this was supposed to be 3 major renovations, the fourth thing is not really a renovation, it's a gadget.
It's a gadget, yeah. It's our Valterra shutoff valve, which goes on the end of our waste tank valve. That allows us to release the gray, release the black water, but not have anything come out of the Airstream. There's a shutoff valve there, so the water can equalize just naturally by the force of gravity between our gray and black tanks.
And since we don't have a toilet, we just have our composting toilet, nothing goes in our black tank.
That's right.
And so this way we can put gray water into our black tank and pretty much double our gray water storage.
Yep. So yeah, we've never even come close to overflowing, I guess, our wastewater
After about
capacity
2 weeks,
at this point.
We get pretty full in both, but we've never had to actually leave a spot because of the fact that we were full up.
Yeah.
So those are our top 3 renovations for boondocking.
3.5?
Plus 1. Yeah, 3.5. Hope you enjoyed this Tuesday talk. If you have a question for a future Tuesday talk, please let us know, because we're looking for them.
We are.
And give us a thumbs up if you like this video.
Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep. Comment if you have a different opinion or another renovation you think is very useful for boondocking. And we will see you next week.
That's right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Where's your dog?
Oh, she's back.